we're going to talk about main bedroom suites. And Nathan, we are going to start with you. So why don't you give us a little bit about, about layered lighting and exactly what that is. We touched on it lightly, Mary Ann yesterday touched on it, but please go into more detail.
Yeah, you'll see the theme of a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is having intention and control behind your lighting. It's not enough to be able to, you want to put all your energy into the ambiance and decorations. You have to be able to accent them with lighting to be able to adapt to that as the time of the day changes. And layering your lighting is another one of those intentional control things where you're providing obviously the overall overhead ambiance lighting, but you're able to provide some accent lighting where it's necessary in a bedroom. A wall sconce is one way to do that. But this sets some depth and contrast inside of the room. It really shows off the architecture that you've created, you've designed, and any of the things that you've added to the room since you've built that room, you're able to show off and emphasize even more. So with layered lighting specifically, you'll see like ambient and task lighting and that accent lighting it really enhances the beauty and the functionality of this space. And you have to be able to control that as well. It's not just enough to have all those lights, you have to be able to turn them on intentionally, set the time for them when you want them to be on.
And for you designers, that's really will make you stand out a lot differently if you really get with your clients and walk them through their house and think about lighting ahead of time to do that. It's an easy sell. It's a moneymaker, and it's something that you should just talk about, and it gets them really more involved with living in that house. When I started in this industry, one of the sales managers he was the head of sales and marketing at the time, said, you want them to be invested. This is a process that could take 6 months. At the time, it was only 6 months, but cycles are different now. But anyways, he said, could take 6 months, and you want them to be in the process of living in that house and getting familiar with that, which is why we always go back to the models and get into the models. But for the designers that are in the room here, I would definitely hit on lighting, and if you haven't done it yet, I would do that. And if you've got technology and can do a plan and show some areas, I know with my design team, we never were able to say specifically. We just said approximately, we're gonna put the switch here, and we give some heights approximately. And so that, because we don't know exactly what's behind the drywall in that one area.
Right.
So anyways, but I'm just gonna recommend that's a good sale for you guys. So, okay, Allie, you're up. Let's talk about Wayfair. Oh, look, I misspelled it.
I was like, you did?
Oh, first thing, sorry.
Quick typo, no big deal. Yeah, so a lot of what we see, as I had mentioned, we work a lot with the model home design itself. So what the buyers are going to be walking through before selecting finishes and such. And appealing to the comfort of the individual has been a big piece. Having layers upon layers within the textiles, especially in the bedroom, having kind of creates a more comforting feel, really welcoming, and almost a little bit beyond what is typical in their home. So it's something that's a dream for them to have, but still attainable. It's not out of reach. Yeah, so the realistic elevated styles, designing to the demographics. So again, that's something our designers always try to focus on is where are you in the country? What is the demographic that you're trying to bring into these models, or into these homes? Who is it going to be? What are the price points that you want to focus on? Small spaces, we've seen a lot of this, and we'll get into this a little bit later with office spaces as well, having smaller spaces, but mirrors have really helped. That's been a huge, I think, one of the stats we had was it was like an over 200% increase in searches on mirrors within spaces over the last few months, and that kind of drives to what we've seen within the model homes, being able to create a bigger space and bigger vision for those walking through. And then style-wise, neutral, natural nature. So tones on tones and layerings. Our team just returned from the High Point market, saw a lot of greens. They actually had said that they believe the color of the year is like a lighter blue tone.
So I went
seen
to the
that.
Sherwin-Williams, they announced their colors, and the first one was the green-blue, is what they called the
Okay,
first
yes.
category. They had
So-
3.
But it's like a very soft, comforting,
Yep.
but not gray. And,
No.
you know, you're adding some color in, which is really nice. So on furniture styles, we've seen a lot of different curves and rounded surfaces. I know we touched on that yesterday. Those are kind of some of the high points within the bedroom.
Cool.
Oh, great. You have
I've
some of
got
our-
some-
yeah,
I've got
you
some
have
of your
our
work that
samples.
you've
So this
done.
is what some of our design proposals look like. But this one actually was trying to speak to smaller spaces. So we're seeing a lot of this, especially in this work from home world, of wanting to incorporate a desk working space, whether it be for a student or for a working professional, that isn't necessarily their full-time working space. So we've seen a lot, especially in the tech industries over the last 6-8 months, of returning to office in a hybrid setting. So you need a place that you can work 2 to 3 days a week, but you don't want to dedicate a whole space to your house. And so we're starting to see this in models as well as we're putting those together. I don't know what we were going for within this, why I had shared this one. This is just a particular model that we did. I do appreciate the different tones of the headboard or the actual bed there as well. And again, another desk and working space within the room. This one's more of a student teenager
And
room
it looks
that
like
we
the
were
chair
doing.
has the curve in it that we've been speaking, that
Yeah.
we're seeing a lot in furniture now.
Adding in the wood tones
Uh-huh.
as well with the
Yeah.
desk.
So,
Another example of the working space, this one again in a bedroom, but what we loved about this is the builder actually created a little bit of a nook on the side. So it's not an afterthought, it was a dedicated space for it. They had to think through things like making sure they had all the right plugs, making sure they had bandwidth for Wi-Fi, making sure that lighting is good there. There's a window right by there, so they have that natural lighting in there. Assuming typically we would put some sort of task lighting as well on this desk. So I, not forgetting that piece of the multiple lighting sources that are needed for this, but also creating a little bit where it is. The Zoom background is not going to contain your bed, so you feel like you have like a more dedicated space.
okay, Brenda.
Okay, so just design trends, and Nancy mentioned just sourcing of the images, and my perspective is more of an Arizona perspective, obviously, of what I'm seeing is our home buyers come in regards to flooring, and a lot of the designers that I follow and source images from as well are Arizona or California based, so just a little bit of a disclaimer there.
Right, thank you.
So feature walls in the primary suites are still very prevalently used, as well as the beams and the ceiling details too. So just another area to be able to customize and make that more specific for the buyer. And then smart lighting, of course, as Nathan mentioned, as much natural light as possible is what we're seeing. A lot of this is going to be having that access to the outdoors, whether it's French doors or a large slider, again, to be able to open that up entirely, and then having a personalized patio off of that primary suite as well. We're seeing that as trending quite a bit now too. And then hard surface only, that seems to be what a lot of buyers are coming in. If the budget allows, that's what they would prefer. It doesn't always. And then they're transitioning to carpet if they have to, but if they can afford to put in a warmer wood floor or LVP or laminate, that's wood look tile even, that's what they're doing.
Okay, so here's some bedrooms that you sent over, really pretty. And the feature walls that you're talking about, the ceiling details, the fixtures too, on the ceilings. I know that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary Ann's not here, so Brenda's gonna wing it for Mary Ann.
Yes. Okay, so let's see. So Mary Ann also is noticing the sitting area and lounge space incorporated into the primary suite as well. She's seeing mismatched nightstands just as far as furniture trends, where it's not looking like you just walked into your furniture store and bought the whole suite,
Are you
right?
seeing that, Allie? Are you guys seeing that as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Again, just making it more customized and unique. Wallpaper and darker walls, a lot of the over light and bright. Moodiness is something that is, I think we're all touching on right now, where it's going in that direction. Let's see. Oh, place for a coffee wine bar. Who doesn't want that in the primary suite? So that's a yes.
Yeah, and these are some photos that she sent over for us as well. Okay. Here we go.
Beautiful.
So a lot of, again, we're trying to make home ownership attainable, and so a lot of the production builders are building those smaller homes, but want to still show the capabilities of some of the secondary bedrooms. So we're seeing a lot of double twin beds. We're seeing a lot of trying to show queen beds if possible in the space, even if it potentially means not having a dresser in the room. And I think I have an example of doing this later. See, we never know what's going to come.
I know.
It's a fun surprise. So yeah, double twin beds, bunk beds, just showing the maximization of the space. Office spaces, again, students are typically wanting a desk, or a guest bedroom with like a desk as like a side piece. So we're using a lot of desks as nightstands within a lot of our homes right now.
And then the bookshelves, I think we're putting
Yes,
bookshelves.
the mounted wall bookshelves as a way to show storage versus having, a large chest within a room.
Yes.
This photo too, I also really love. We're seeing a lot more decorative lighting within the bedroom spaces. So I remember walking through this room and being like, oh wow,
And
I really
I'm
love
seeing that in the customs, you guys, when we're walking through the customs where they spec the houses, a lot more lighting and fixtures and things like that, decorative going in, is what I'm seeing as well. So now,
so here
look
is
at what we did, Allie.
Perfect, just side by side, so you can see our design and then our design coming to life. So this was a space where we wanted to show, one of the things we've pulled back on a little bit is nurseries within the secondary bedrooms, because everyone knows you can fit a crib in any room. And so this wanted to show the younger child, but then still have the queen size bed to show the flexibility. But putting that, the shelving onto the wall created a fun area that can show storage and kind of tell the story as buyers are walking through the model.
Cool, and I think I have another one.
Yes, and this room was fun to do as well. Again, showing the extra space. You can fit 2 beds in here. 2 children would be able to use this room. We were able to actually fit a dresser in this space as well. We did like the tall chest versus the lower dresser drawers.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot more built-in closet space with drawers in it that is eliminating the dresser. And so there are some places.
Just making good use of the space.
Okay, Brenda, this was a cool photo. I love it.
Yes. So a lot of I saw what Allie touched on as well. So again, overhead lighting being something that is definitely a decorative trend, with changing that from just the basic ceiling fan or nothing to a place to accent. Sorry. Oh, okay. Walk-in closets, more storage space. Again, that trend with no carpet, keeping it the hard surface if possible. Textured accent walls, just like the primary suite. And then the desks for schoolwork and built-in beds. And so we saw this it was an architectural group out of Texas, and they had an image, I couldn't find it, but it was almost like a dorm space where you had 2 people that were in the same room, not necessarily related to each other, so that's why it reminded me of a dorm room, but they used the bedding and the built-in as basically a wall, and then they had the beds next to it. It was a genius idea for a really small area where you could still provide privacy
For 2 siblings that didn't like each other.
Yes, exactly, so.
Okay. Brendan, you showed a few more spaces here.
Yes, so PDI is a design group out of California as well, and so I use these, again, just to show that desk that they're incorporating in And the accent walls is really just that focal point in the bedrooms too.
Yes, and PDI does work across the country, so
Yes.
they're all over. Okay, let's see what Mary Ann's showing. Brenda?
Okay, so let's see, mix and match bedroom furniture. So she touched on that in the primary as well, where the nightstands aren't matching, upholstered headboards, and then extra bedrooms are also turned into multifunctional rooms. So absolutely, with the desk and that area being a workspace as well.